Welcome back to Wanted Dead, Part 6. Psych! That's the wrong number!
God, just cannot get the staff these days. No professionalism.
Yeah.
Shifty eyes.
Anyway, time for that second, Captain losing his shit, scene that I was talking about. Everyone is here, including Vivian, and Officer Paws. They technically don't even need to. They're not... Like, here's the funny character detail regarding Vivian, is that, like, she's the gunsmith, but not officially part of the zombie unit. She's the gunsmith for the entire department, to the point where, because of her position, she doesn't even need to wear the uniform that she has. She does it because she likes it.
She's just guilty by association.
Yeah.
It was later passed along with the revolver to his children that fought the Germans in a different war. The sound of this horn was somebody's bane. Sir Nathaniel's grandchildren fought the Viet Cong. Then his grandchildren's children fought Taliban. Guess what? The sound of this...
Well, I guess that event still happened even in this alternate future.
Why does he have a big bar of Lindt chocolate in his wall?
Sir, I just want to say...
You shut the hell up, Herzog. I ain't done yet. You motherfuckers are like my own children. And I cannot believe my own eyes.
Look at the kitty.
I arrive on the scene.
Aww.
Dead policemen, a crashed helicopter, dead fucking androids, piles of corpses.
I just want to know where you can get a coffee cup the size of a bath like
the
that.
zombie unit strikes again. No survivors.
Every day is a Tums festival!
I actually have that t-shirt. It's a picture of Cameron Mitchell with every day ends with a Tums festival on it.
Yeah.
Best shirt I've ever owned.
Look, we didn't expect resistance.
And Rich Evans just, like, overdosing on Tums for a bit. It's a shame that he died.
I mean, he did kill all those children.
Yeah.
One more thing.
But yeah, with this whole lecture, you can clearly tell, even more so than the incident at Dower, this unit is clearly done. he's already giving Hannah the remark of, like, I ain't gonna be able to back you guys up from this point on.
You're a loose cannon. You get results, but you're too much for the Force.
Yeah. Anyway, time to get all the blood off from that shit.
Yeah, with the amount of... Oh, pixelated. That's
blood.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say more tasteful than anything in the last two Parasite Eve games.
Fair, yeah. Another interesting visual detail that you might not have picked up on is as each day that goes by after those showers, Hannah's shirt, like, it gets a different color every time. Like, she changes to a different one. Yeah. It was yellow at first, and then it was, like, I think pink previously, and now we just got a regular white one.
Mm. The one thing that's kind of annoyed me, and I don't know if annoyed is the right word, only the nails in her artificial hand are painted.
I think that seat is taken.
I never realized that. Holy shit.
Yeah. And I don't know why, and I'm kind of like... Why? Why?
Keep saying that.
These are slaves.
Oh, here we go, gossiping about Mr. X.
Yeah, apparently her and Mr. X are actually references to Resident Evil. She's meant to be Ada Wong.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Please stop.
I'm genuinely interested in Herzog's theory.
I genuinely don't give a fuck.
He's just
He
following
speaks for us all.
Vivian, don't encourage Herzog, please.
In Herzog's world, women get pregnant by entering the men's room.
Only when he's in there.
More than that.
Oh, man.
See? He's like,
yeah.
Me.
And I thought this day will play it out right.
All right, knock it off.
You seem to be very hostile today, Hannah.
Yeah,
Shut
today.
the hell up, all of you.
Everyone's betrayed me.
Oh, hi, doggy.
Oh, hi, Paws.
You're my favorite police officer.
What did I do to deserve you?
That actually reminds me, was it ever, like, fully confirmed at all, like, where the fuck Tommy Wiseau actually came from? Like, especially why... his accent?
There have been like a bunch of rumors. I've got The Disaster Artist, the book that goes into the making of The Room, written by Greg Sestero. And I've read, like, it's one of those books I keep meaning to go back and read properly, because I think I've read maybe the first 100 pages or so. And even he's like, I'm not exactly sure where he comes from. Because I know where he said he comes from, which is somewhere vaguely European. But where exactly he's from seems to be some kind of a mystery. Same
anyway,
with,
who likes
Where It Gets
karaoke?
Fun Now. Not me.
How about bad karaoke?
It kind of makes me want to gouge my ears out and eat them.
Welcome to the best karaoke minigame in all of video games.
It's kind of reminding me of Saints Row 2 or 3, I think it is. Yeah, Saints Row 3. Where you're listening to that
Sublime.
one song in the car. The Sublime song, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you could tell clearly with this one. It's like whatever singing they were doing to record this clearly had to have been, they just went in there, agreed that they were going to do one take, and then just build the minigame around this.
Exactly. That's what happened with Saints Row. They were, the guy playing Pierce knew the song, and one or two of the voices knew it. But I think Laura Bailey's boss was just mumbling along with it because she didn't know the lyrics.
Oh, that is great.
It actually
yeah,
changes
but this is
depending
like
on what voice you've got.
Yeah, but this whole thing is like we all know the memes that have come about from like snippets of karaoke songs in the Yakuza series. But this is a more authentic Yakuza, more authentic karaoke representation than it is in the Yakuza games.
This is karaoke as it actually is.
Yes. And it's like, is everyone singing terribly? Yes. But everyone's having a good time. They don't give a shit. Look at them. Look at Cortez. Look at Herzog.
Herzog danced fucking crazy.
I think you saw them at the beginning. It was like they were just sitting there looking bored out of their minds, and now they've just gone 0 to 60.
Chief was on his phone, and now they're like practically doing a synchronized dance routine.
Yeah, I think the even better part about this is that because it's Hannah and Vivian's voice actors doing the singing. Marie Zimmerman already established she has a very thick Swiss accent to begin with, so that obviously gets in the way of things. Stephanie Houston actually does have a pretty decent singing voice. In fact, in the months before this game came out, she actually put out her first solo album, which I believe some of the songs from that album were featured in this game. Like you can hear them on the jukebox. Yeah, got a little cross promotion there. So it's like, she's clearly capable of singing this well, but even if you pay attention, you go back to this bit without hearing us yak over it and listen to Stephanie Houston's singing, it's like she's clearly not doing it perfect and doesn't care, because that would go against the spirit of this whole part.
I can easily see this being end of the day. Everyone takes a couple of shots of whiskey and is just fucking go for it, buddy.
Yeah. It's like everyone at Soleil and the 110 Industries guys that were visiting Japan at the time just being like, okay, this is technically off-site, but could we go to a karaoke bar? We'll bring the mic with us.
Some dude just there with his iPhone being like, no, drunker.
It's like, give us some more shots. And yes, this is a mini game where it is theoretically possible to get a perfect 100% score, but good fucking luck getting that. The achievements for the mini games are arguably way harder than beating this game on Japanese hard. I shit you not.
Believable. Just going by the karaoke mini games in any given Yakuza game.
Yeah.
I did not do those for a reason.
Especially when, much like how I talked about when we did the ramen mini game, rhythm games is like one of those genres where you think it's simple to do perfectly, but it takes way more craft than it initially seems.
Yeah. So I remember watching someone do a speedrun of Drakengard. And for those who don't know, the ending of the game ends with a giant rhythm action game.
Yeah.
And guy did it perfectly, but mistimed it deliberately so that all the button presses were occurring at the very last possible moment. And that game is hard enough to do normally. And I was like, I get, showing off in a game, but Drakengard?
That's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
What happens?
Bit of a head scratcher, that one.
New memories, if any.
So
Anyway, here's the interrogation. Probably the most successful serious scene that Wanted Dead is capable of doing. Because this is where we really get the explanation, or at least like a solid look at what the hell is the deal with the synthetics.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It's kind of reminding me of the interrogation scene in iRobot.
I had a feeling that was like something that like would kind of get people to make the connection. I never saw iRobot, but I always remember like seeing shots of like Will Smith like basically like having an interrogation with like one of the robots in that movie.
Yeah, there's a bit where he's interrogating one of the synths or whatever they're called in that. And the key bit which was in all the trailers was the robot slamming its fist against the table, saying, "I didn't murder him," and denting the table.
They're usually not so kind.
How many times were you punished?
Too many.
But yeah, that's like obviously like the whole idea.
So lightly.
It's interesting, but like this whole setup, because you think about
just like you.
well, yeah, like she just said the line that she's like flesh and bone.
Hard conditions.
And the whole concept of like the whole recall nature of like when like these synthetics are called back to be repurposed elsewhere. It's like you start to wonder there probably was a very good reason why like synthetics were not supposed to be like deployed or allowed to like work in public areas,
Yeah.
They used to.
Because I think any passerby with half a brain would look past them and go, something's up.
Yeah, the game's kind of weird in the robots, I mean, for one thing, bleed. She's talking about and requiring heat and food. She's smoking. So it's kind of like exactly what degree of, like, it's a synthetic, someone that's just got a certain degree of cyborg parts in them, or like what is the deal here?
Yeah.
Sometimes they wake you up, with memories of yesterday.
And I mean, even then, it's like with you just like look at Hannah. It's like you can already see how physically she's not 100% human. Like the arm is very distinct.
She's human.
Yeah, it's something that's come up in a few stories that I've encountered over the years. Like, at what point does someone get enough enhancements or prosthetics that they essentially stop being counted as human?
Yeah. Just a little text reminder that like there's the karaoke mic in the break room, which is their way of saying, hey, because if you ever want to like challenge any of those mini games again, once you experience them the first time, you could always like go back to them, including the ramen mini game, of which there are 9 additional tracks besides the one that we just showed off. I'm not really showing any planning to like show any of them, even as like a bonus video. Like you could probably like look up like the songs like elsewhere or something like that, especially when it's because again with how the ramen mini game, the whole goal is to try and survive eating 10 bowls, and for how long that goes for, it's not really worth trying to show every song and how each part of it escalates.
I mean, even speeding it up, that was a good 5 solid minutes. Just going over it.
Yeah.
Oh, back in the anime zone.
Yeah, I'll just say it probably with like maybe as like a bonus at like
everything is going to be
when I do like the Japanese hard like single segment, or not single segment, I guess just the general super play video for that. I'll probably like throw in a bonus with like an image of like the the ramen menu, as it were, so you can see what they're all called and see like if that gets your appetite going. But yes, we're back in anime land. In our memories, or someone's.
Again, getting a bit Ghost in the Shelley with whose memories are these?
Mm-hmm.
What's this?
The treatment.
I don't understand.
Latent tuberculosis infection is no joke. This is isoniazid. Once daily for 9 months.
That's a pretty heavy
You
regime.
need me to sign something?
Only the check.
I'm sorry.
It's an antibiotic. It costs money.
Okay. How much?
8,000.
Where am I supposed to
Per
find
pill.
the money?
That's for the first months.
But we have insurance?
Your insurance covers ambulance costs. Maybe a doctor's visit. It doesn't cover the drug.
What kind
The
of
American
people are
healthcare
you?
system strikes again.
We've all read enough hentai to know where this is going.
Yep. Look at that fucking smug grin, piece of shit.
Secretly,
also
this game
weird
is
how
about
that-
why single-payer healthcare is good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's also interesting to know where it's like, I'll admit when I played through this game the first time and you saw like, you know, the first flashback in that orphanage kind of looking area where it was like, there wasn't really an indication of like, if that was supposed to be Stone, like kind of in her past or if it was someone else, but like, but you saw with the subtitles, oh yeah, that's clearly supposed to be her or at least someone that sounds like her.
Yeah, the accent was a bit of a giveaway at the very least.
Yeah, definitely. Something clearly happened, especially with, I'm gonna say with where she is now, especially at this point in her life, I somehow don't think, I'm pretty sure, like, whatever that tuberculosis medicine was that she needed, it wasn't for her.
If it was, then she certainly couldn't have joined the cops afterwards.
Yeah, it should be, like, yeah, like, joining the cops, or even just joining the Allied forces during World War X, because that's how she had to end up here in the first place, being a war criminal.
Yeah.
Again, important thing to realize with, as far as, like, again, another thing that you can sort of surmise from what World War X was possibly about. The fact that Hannah and all the other members of the zombie unit were in the Allied forces and were branded war criminals afterwards. I would not be surprised if, like, the war criminal status wasn't because of them just being, like, too horrible even for the Allied forces. It just became convenient when the Allied forces lost.
Yeah, like, we're not going to say that what you did was right, but we are going to look the other way until it's convenient to blame it all on you.
Yeah. And when your side has nothing to stand on, then, yeah, off to prison for you.
Yeah, allies of convenience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's, like, the further written details about, like, the interrogation stuff that was, you know, like, already, like, described by October during the cutscene.
I was delivered into this world in a body bag, and I will leave this world in a body bag.
It's a pretty hardcore statement.
Explosion.
Well, I mean, they gotta transport these synthetics somehow.
Mm.
Yeah, we're just doing like a quick round back up of the collectibles that new collectible reports that have appeared in the police station. This track that's playing as well, also kind of getting back to Stephanie Houston having her solo album released kind of like at the near the end of 2022. This was on that, I believe. At least when I look it up on YouTube, this seems to like be like connected to her album Singing to the Stars.
Is it a cover or is it original? Because it sounds very familiar.
I believe it's original. Yeah, because like
sounds like a couple of songs that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because a good number of the covers in this, they are all performed by a band where, like, when they list the credits for them, a lot of them are listed as performed by Bella and the Switchblades, as, like, I guess the particular group that does most of them. And depending on who's doing the lyrics, it's either Rainey Shockney who's, like, doing the singing, or it's Stephanie Houston. Anyway, we're building up to the last minigame of Wanted Dead, and clearly the best one.
Oh, we finally get to play the shooter.
Yep. You saw it in the background of the karaoke game.
Yeah,
and it also bears the same name as the anime that old Timothy was watching in the Kowloon apartment.
Yeah, the background graphics in the karaoke minigame, that was like way too involved for this not to be a real thing.
Yeah. So welcome to the minigame, which instead of releasing a like traditional gameplay demo on Christmas of 2022, 110 Industries decided to release as a free download this minigame that you could play in its entirety.
Oh, cool.
Because it is a arcade shmup through and through in the style of the Gradius or R-Type school of horizontal shmup design.
Yeah, looking at it, it was giving me some kind of Sidearms vibes.
Yeah, a little
like
bit.
Really, it looks more like the sort of Capcom side of shooters as opposed to the IREM kind of side.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, some of the mechanics of it, well, mostly because you got like bits that you can pick up that float above and below. That's like the obvious nod to R-Type. But there's also, like, Yeah, but this is what it is when you get into the gameplay proper. 7 stages, something that you can approximately beat in about half an hour to 40 minutes. And much like Gradius and R-Type, Gradius Syndrome will hit you fucking hard if you so much as die late in the game.
Oh, yeah, do not like that.
It is for that reason that this playthrough I did only gets me partway through stage 5 of 7, and by the time that I started dying repeatedly, I was like, okay, good enough.
Yeah.
It's like, it felt far enough that it didn't feel like it felt like I was able to give like a solid enough demonstration of what the game has to offer, as well as like the best capabilities of like what you can do in this game. Because you see the bits that I'm currently getting, I'm also getting power-ups, but there is also, much like in R-Type, there are 3 core weapons that you can switch to based on like the power-up that you pick. One is a regular Vulcan shot, the other is a laser that pierces, and the other is a homing shot that is weaker than all the other 2, but, it can hit enemies that aren't directly in your path.
Yeah. It's definitely given me, if anyone remembers Gley Lancer on the Mega Drive, it's really reminding me of that kind of era of shooters.
Yeah. One extra thing to also note as far as, like, when you increase, like, your power level for your weapons, like, as you can see with, like, the laser, you see, like, those 5 thin beams that are all shooting straight forward. And if I had switched to the homing laser, it would be, like, you would have 5 individual beams going everywhere. But with the Vulcan, it basically makes it so that you get 3 of those shots going straight, and then the remaining 2 are going at 45-degree angles.
So you're kind of pseudo-spread gun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, which means, the Vulcan is most effective once you are at, like, level 4 or 5. Lasers, meanwhile, is like, even with the slow rate of fire, like, their power is good enough to try and, like, bounce back if you, say, lose a life early on.
Yeah.
Because you obviously do not want to die if you are already past the halfway mark of the game. But that's the benefit of, like, having a max level laser. You can pretty much just kill the boss before it even gets a chance to shoot back.
Yeah.
But, like, this game is fun, all things considered. I was never able to, like, 1cc it, unfortunately. Like, get to the end. I got really close one time during, like, when I was just playing it randomly last year. And that was the one where I felt that, oh yeah, the Gradius Syndrome is at its hardest, because it was the very final boss. And it was like, my weapons aren't powerful enough, I don't have enough speed upgrades to avoid these attacks. I am basically, and I also do not have enough bombs to, like, power through the boss's attacks with the invincibility frames.
It's one of the things I've, like, I remember when Gradius 5 came out. And I knew someone at the time who was fairly, I don't want to say hardcore into shmups, but he was like someone who took him very seriously. And it's got an option in it where you can basically... you can set it up so that it is classic Gradius rules, or you can set it up so that you keep at least some of your power-ups when you die. And I was like, okay, I know which one is classic and I know which one is fun.
Yeah, I do respect the older Gradius games, but I like 5 a lot because of that aspect. In addition to the, obviously the weapon edit system that it's got, just like the idea you can customize your Big Viper's loadout is so cool.
Yeah, but he saw me playing it with the what he called easy mode on, which, I mean, to be fair, it does make things easier, but as I said, it also makes things.
But that game's also long, even by Gradius standards.
I think a standard playthrough, 1cc, is about 90 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's an hour plus at least, and that's obviously with the fact that there's a couple of cutscenes in that are made unskippable.
Yeah. But yeah, he was quite, shall we say, mocking about the way that I chose to play it, and I was like, yeah, okay, reel your neck, be your den, buddy. I'm having fun here.
I take it this was the same person that gave you shit for playing the special edition of DMC3.
Surprisingly, a different person. I've just known a lot of gaming assholes.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I am not lucky with my choice of friends at times.
Well, until me.
Yay, friendship.
And Fiendly, I guess. I mean, like, it seems like you guys do you guys do have a really good rapport whenever you're on his streams.
Yeah, the streams that we do are a lot of fun.
Yeah, just a shame I've not been able to really catch them because they just happen on the days when I unfortunately have work.
Yeah, but everything goes up on VODs, so
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess more things that could be explained as far as the mechanics of Space Runaway now that we are at a pretty comfortable spot in terms of power, because we're at max attack power. We have both of our bits, options, whatever you want to call them, floating above, which basically, you remember how in Gradius 5, for instance, one of the best things about it was the control that you get over your options, with one of the best ones being the ability to I guess second best, because it's not the freeze, but it's the rotate, where you can freely rotate the direction that they're shooting in. This is kind of like that, but instead of it being a full 360 degrees, it's you either have them shoot, forward, vertical, or behind. And you can just cycle through those with the tap of the button, which makes it very useful as a fallback in the event where you don't have the homing lasers.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Hellfire as well, where you've got 4 weapons with the choice of directions, except, you don't have to rapidly cycle through 3 of them because you want to get to the one before the one you're using.
Yeah. And 3 in this case makes sense because, having the options basically firing in the direction of your player unit and intersecting is functionally no different than just shooting vertically away. And also there is, the speed increases. Naturally, just like in something like Gradius, you never want to go to max speed. So just stop at somewhere around level 3 and try and avoid any more speed upgrades to the best of your ability and you're good. I think on this run I
uncontrollable.
Yeah, I think on this run though I accidentally pick up a 4th one, but I'm still able to keep it fairly under control.
Yeah.
But one thing that's important to know, you might have been noticing with the enemies when I kill them that they turn a dark red and show sparks. That leads to, I think, what is a pretty standout mechanic with this, that I would not be surprised if another shmup in the past had dabbled in something like this, but it was definitely new to me. When you destroy an enemy, as long as you are holding the fire button, there's sprites, it will turn that red color and spark and will basically stay in place on the screen, not in the location of the level, just the screen. And it will stay that way for several seconds before it automatically destructs. And when it destructs, which, that can also be done earlier if you simply let go of the button, but enemies that blow up will create a actual explosion hurt box that can damage other enemies that come into range.
Yeah, that probably is a thing from some game or another, but it's not one that I would be familiar with.
Yeah, me neither. But it's the sort of thing where I find it really cool because, you know, as much as this game ultimately does commit to the Gradius Syndrome problem, I guess we'll call it, even though I guess problem is a relative thing in this case, depending, I guess, on how good you are at shmups to begin with.
Well, yeah,
but,
it's either, you know, a problem or a feature, depending on how good you are at the games, or how much you like the challenge.
Yeah, and it certainly makes it stand out compared to most other shmups where they would just simply have you respawn right at the spot. But at least with the idea of, you know, shooting an enemy in a particular part of the screen where you know the next wave is going to intersect, that at least provides a bit of strategy where if you are not powerful enough because you respawned, that could probably give you an edge that you otherwise wouldn't have trying to deal with an enemy that is tanking way too many hits and can probably shoot you way faster than you can avoid. It doesn't always work out like that, because I mean, like, I've had issues where it's like, even like, because again, once you get to about stage 4, that's the part where trying to recover from a death is nigh unsalvageable.
Yeah. You just go into a failure spiral.
Yeah. That said, though, when you're cooking with this game, like, it is pretty fun. This was, like, it is, like, I commend the person at Soleil that just, like, put this shit together. And, like, everyone at 110 was like, yeah, we'll put this in as a minigame. We already got all this other stuff to give the game variety.
See, the thing is, like, this is channeling that sort of late 80s, early 90s kind of shmup feel so well that it's hard to believe that, you know, like, no way in hell this was someone's weekend project. Like, this is a genuine labor of love.
Yeah, they got, like, it could have easily started as, like, just a simple weekend project, but considering the potential, it was like someone at Soleil basically had this as their full-time job for, like, a few months.
Yeah. No way this was an accident.
Yeah, especially because of how, like, you know, like, there's all, you know, shmups are still getting made even to this day. A lot of them from, like, the indie community, like, Japanese doujin creators, like, most notably in a lot of cases. But then you obviously get some where it's like, either it's a full game or a mini game in other, like, full-priced premium games, where it feels like, you know, they're doing it just as, like, as a small cute thing, but not, but they aren't putting all the love and attention they need to make it something that feels like it's a legitimate part of its genre. Because I think about how around this time, you know, Platinum put out Soul Cresta, and that game, like, admittedly, it's being sold for way too much than I am wanting to ever really, like, pay money for. But, like, everything I've heard about what Soul Cresta has as far as its mechanics sound really cool. But then I see things about how like, the weird visuals that the game goes for to try and come off looking retro when it looks so fake. As well as the fact that it is a long shoot 'em up that also has a drama mode where it's basically like a story mode with, like, that plays out like you're listening to a radio drama that pushes the game to, like, 2 hours on a single run.
Jeez.
And I am like, this seems like, I get there's an enthusiasm for this, but you can't really, like, the thing that makes people still dedicated to shmups the way that they are is because they are so non-conforming to what is expected of, like, much longer form premium games out there. Like, this works. They put this out as in lieu of a proper demo for Wanted Dead because it works as a game unto itself.
Yeah. That just makes me think of when Cine Mora was first released. And
the Grasshopper shmup.
Yeah. And that has a very involved storyline. And people did not know how to handle it and were like, okay, like, it's nice that there's a plot, but this is a shmup first and foremost. What's all this?
Feels like Radiant Silvergun
doing?
Radiant Silvergun to me just feels like the sole shmup that managed to, like, get that idea right.
Yeah, and even then, because most of the storyline you need to go rooting about to find it, other than, you know, Big Stone be evil.
Or that, and, you know, understanding Japanese.
Yeah, I mean,
but I mean, the thing that helps
time
it,
travel, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that helps at least in Radiant Silvergun's case is that when the story beats, like, do crop up, it is, like, very sparse. Like, you still go through long stretches of, you know, just pure gameplay, which is appreciative, but it's, you know, it goes for about an hour and a half if you manage to do it all in one sitting, which is, like, that's long, but I can at least buy that as, like, the upper limit for what most SHMUP players would be able to tolerate. Definitely not 2 hours.
I mean, I've been playing Angel at Dusk, which just came out recently, which is an incredibly weird body horror style shmup by the guys that did it. I think it's just a one-man team. Famous for a bunch of freeware games, the Gal Shell series. I think Slow Beef did one of them, and.
Okay.
At the end of every stage, there's a little bit of text that comes up, and sometimes it goes by too fast, so you don't have enough time to read it before the stage transition occurs. But all of them are listed in a little directory in the options menu. So you go into the options menu, and then you discover there's like 150 of them.
Yeah.
So you're like, what the fuck? So you finish the story mode, and it's like, yep, there's definitely something going on here. And then you go into the original mode, which is weird because it's developed for the PC. So, and there's something like that's where the other 130 odd stages are lurking.
Holy shit!
Yeah, there's a lot to play in that game. Like it's basically like a whole shooter RPG. You can level up your weapons, your craft, I suppose is the right term. It's one of the most ridiculously involved shooters I've played in a long time.
Wow.
Highly recommended. The Steam page describes it as, if I recall, uncompromisingly skeletal.
That's strong.
Mods, please change my name to uncompromisingly skeletal. Tan advice.
I'm definitely gonna have to. I'll have to keep that game in mind. That sounds legit fucking cool.
There's I think there's a 3-stage demo of it up on Steam right now. Well worth your like a 20-minute playthrough.
Neat. And this is where the Gradius spiral starts to happen. You're about to see what happens when Gradius Syndrome is in full swing on this fucking pain.
I can... the frustration of you moving at like 2 inches an hour.
Yeah. And it's gonna keep happening around that area.
Yep. This is painful to watch.
Yeah.
Just because
unfortunately, this is gonna go until I lose all of my lives, not all of my credits. Thankfully, because you get a maximum of 5 credits to work with whenever you play Space Runaway. You don't get to credit feed your way through the game, which is like, I mean, obviously that for some people that could be like good or a bad thing. Again, it's kind of similar to how we talked about the Gradius Syndrome could either be a problem or a feature.
Yeah.
You need something with a game like this to actually like incentivize you to want to get better at it. And at least in all the times that I've played this game, even when you get to these moments where you fuck up and it is nothing but downhill, like, you still feel that desire to be like, yeah, I want to do this better. I know I can learn like what all happens in these stages and how to clear each wave effectively.
Yeah, you can just hear Hannah going, God fucking damn it.
Shit. Start saying all kinds of other curse words, and I guess I have to imagine Switzerland has its own curse words.
Just starts breaking out the Icelandic, and no one's really quite sure why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Calls the game a percola, and everyone's just like, that's finished. That's weird.
He goes fuck off, and it says fucks off, kicks the machine, leaves. That's the thing, though. Like no one ever sees Cortez have a gamer moment because he can't even fucking speak.
Oh no, I imagine when he's actually playing it, like if you were psychic, the things that he thinks would just end his career then and there.
But also, since he's black, he can probably, like, just get away with, like, dropping the N-word, but without the hard R.
It's like, dude! And he's like, no, let's go.
Yeah.
I have a license.
I have the N pass. Not like this other dude who dropped the hard R during Black History Month. My son turned Caucasian. That was a hell of a fucking Street Fighter 6 money match. Just making the dude lose it on the other end.
This is why I don't watch tournaments or anything. Like, I just feel that even being in the same room as that, I'm just like, oh, I'm committing a hate crime just being here.
Oh, it wasn't even a tournament. That's the funny part. It was just two streamers with one of them who had no viewers but was just being, like, mad salty and, like, calling shit random because he was playing Ken, and scrubs who play Ken in SF6 are mad carried by their shit. So, and he still lost, and it had to be, and like, and even when he lost, he was still trying to play it off like he still won, at least like the moral victory, like that kind of rambling idiot. Holy shit!
And that was how Darkside Phil got his groove back.